All right, you guys, ignore the cardboard and the AC that's still in my window. Babe still has the AC and he uses it. He's crazy. Also, ignore the construction that is going on behind me. They've been working on the street for forever, and I can hear every little thing that they do, and they do it. They start at like 6 a.m. Anyway, I'm getting ready to get my hair twisted, but Babe has his virtual therapy appointment right now. So, in lieu of that, I promised I would do a story time about my life and just like a official like, hey, I'm Cora. I figured today would be the best day because I don't know when I'd be able to do it after surgery. I'm not very much a person that can handle pain medicine. My body just does not like it. I feel sick, nauseous. It just does not feel good in my system. So I'm not sure how active I'll be or if I'll need it, if I'm able to like make words and remember things. So I figured today is perfect. I have an hour until I have to go downstairs to start my hair. So hello everyone. I am 2.0 Cora the Explorer over here, but I am Cora Price, formerly Cora Mullen. That's part of the story time. I'll get to it. I also have a regular TikTok, Cora the Explorer 12, without the 2.0. That's my original page. That's where I share my what I do for work and my lifestyle, also to motivate and inspire because of what I've been through in my life has been a lot. It's a crazy story that you guys are about to hear. And then also I have an Instagram, same name, same everything, Cora the Explorer. And that's where I originally started my journey in 2000 and I want to say 2015, I started a weight loss journey in keto in January, and then in 8 months I had lost 80 pounds. Was healthiest I'd ever been in my adult life, and then I got pregnant with my son. And yeah, so let's get into the story because I'm jumping all over the place. So I grew up in a very traumatic household. My mom was there when she was there. My dad went to jail when I was a couple months old. And he got out when I was 16. The house was full of just like drug abuse and a lot of just not things a kid should be around. So I went to foster care when I was 10. Backpedaling a little bit, my mom decided to partake in extracurriculars while she was pregnant with me, thus why I have medical issues that I'll get to, but I forgot that piece. So my life started crazy before I was even out here in the world. But anyways, fast forward to I went into the foster care system when I was 10. I aged out when I was 18. Me and my brother and sister all moved in with the foster home. My brother and sister ended up leaving. I'm the only one that aged out and stayed there until I was 18. I'm also the only one out of my siblings that got my high school diploma. Got my high school diploma, started to go to college, but then I got a job, was getting instant gratification with the money, so I stopped going to college, ended up working at like a Winco or a grocery store and working like odd jobs just to pay for things. I was an adult at that point. And then at the age of 18, I broke my ankle. We'll do another story time on why. Leave in the comments if you want to know that story, but I don't have time to share that. So broke my ankle and ended up having to move to Reno where my mom had moved. And a little bit about that, me and my mom kept in touch throughout the years of me being in foster care. So we still had somewhat of a relationship, and she was there when I needed her. Kind of my dad too, I'll get to that. But she allowed me to come to Reno and recover. At that time when I had my job after 18, I lived with my sister, my cousins. I kind of was living with family, wasn't really an adult yet, didn't really have that structure to know what to do. So I went to Reno, lasted until my ankle surgery healed, came right back. I did not like the town. It was not for me. And then I met my, who is now ex-husband at the age of 19. Met him at the age of 19, thought it was love, had never had a boyfriend before. We ended up getting married in 2011. Or 2012, my apologies. I had my daughter, so I got pregnant, had my first kid when I was 23. I had her August 12th of 2011. That's my daughter, Jemiah, that you guys may see every now and then. And then we ended up getting married. one of the biggest mistakes of my life. But in retrospect, I would do it all again to get my daughter, but I digress. That marriage was full of mental, emotional, and towards the end, physical abuse. I actually was working at the time when I was pregnant with my daughter at Walmart. I am a certified automotive technician, so I was the one working on cars, doing tire jobs, changing tires, oil changes, training the guys. I'll do a story time about that if you guys want it, but I was working there while I was pregnant with my daughter. So this comes in some of the medical stuff. When I was pregnant with my daughter, at moments I would get really dizzy. If I looked up too quickly or looked up at the sky, I would get like uneasy on my feet. The biggest thing though, when I would sneeze, I would pass out, y'all. I would pass out. I would come to, I would see like sparkling little flicks. I would hear ringing in my ear. It felt like I was underwater. And everyone around me said like my words even sounded muffled. I can't do it now, but it sounded like not me. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I went to a doctor. They explained you're pregnant. When you sneeze, blood rushes to your head. And just with everything going on in your body, that's what it is. I went and got a second opinion. I was like, absolutely not. Nope. The second opinion did take till after I had my daughter. I had my daughter by cesarean, failure to dilate, which you guys will see in a minute why that was actually a good thing. So I ended up having her cesarean. When I did go in for the second opinion, luckily the doctor I had dealt with other patients having similar issues that were written off as migraines or headaches or whatever. I ended up going in to get a CAT scan, and they found something called Chiari malformation, which is, in a nutshell, smaller size skull as everyone else, same size brain. So my cerebellum, which controls my balance, all the things I was experiencing, was being pinched by my skull. So a little bit after my daughter was 1, so when is this, 2012, 2013, I might have the years a little bit off. I had my first brain decompression surgery where they had to go take a piece of my skull and put a little patch there to make space for my brain. This is over 13 years ago, and I'm fine now, guys. But after the surgery, I was feeling horrible. My husband at the time was out doing who knows whatever. I called him and was like, I need to get to the hospital. I feel like I'm expiring. Sorry, I had a call come in. He was like, oh, I'll be back when I can. So at that time, my dad had got out of jail when I was 16. And we had like an off and on relationship, not really like a close one. But he was there when I needed me. He took me to the hospital. I went in, they checked me out, and they had found a stitch came loose from the surgery. And so spinal fluid was just living its life in my head. So they had to go in and do a revision. And I have a lower lumbar shunt in my lower spine that collects the extra spinal fluid so it doesn't like collect and pull anywhere. So that's why I say I'm not new to the surgery world. I'm nervous about the gas after surgery, but I'm not new to surgeries. I've had many surgeries. But they were able to do the revision, and that was the last little bit I had issues with the surgery. So let me see now. Fast forward after that some years to I think I was 26, 27 at the time, because I was with my daughter's dad, my ex-husband, for 10 years. I met him when I was 19. We got divorced when I was 29. I also, after leaving Walmart and the job, I decided I wanted to go back to school. I originally wanted to go back for nursing, but after being diagnosed with Chiari and being in the hospital for so long, getting to know my doctors, I knew it wasn't for me, because originally I always wanted to be a mom. I knew I wanted to be a mom always. That had never been something that I was going to not accomplish, whatever the way it was going to happen. So I decided to go back to school, and nursing just wasn't in the realm of, with like all the residency, how much schooling it takes. I was like, okay, I need to revamp what I want to do, because I wanted to be a neonatal nurse, which is like the little babies. Well, since I was in the foster care system, I had a worker who would work with me on like what I wanted to do, what were my goals, and she helped me find a program called the Portland Teachers Program, which is a program focused on getting more teachers of color into the school systems, which there is a desperate need for that, especially male teachers. So I was able to get in. It was past the application process, but I was able to get the application in that next day, and I got accepted into the program. I have to do a part 2. I'm already at 10 minutes. This is crazy. So yeah, part 2. I was able to get into the Portland Teachers Program, and it is a full ride through your master's. So I was able to get in, started at PCC with my associates. I got a double associates, switched over to Portland State University for my bachelor's. This is where things start getting really crazy with boyfriend, oh my God, ex-husband, husband at the time. And really, I could do a whole, like, did I marry? Honestly, I could do one. But I think what in, like, retrospect, thinking back now, the reason it got worse and worse the closer I got to finishing was that he didn't believe I was going to be able to accomplish things, and he'd be there for me if I failed. Well, getting closer and closer to my bachelor's, things started taking a turn. He started getting very paranoid, making me check in with him, which again, I was doing some of these things, but like making me check in with him in between classes, accusing me of like hacking into the school system, changing the grades, making the grades my own, all these crazy things. And then my senior year, is where it all like went to ish. I told you guys it was mental and emotional. It turned physical towards the end, and I was that child, and I saw my daughter becoming me, and I was like, that's it. I know, should have been before that. That's a whole nother like story time and a whole nother discussion of why or how I stayed for so long, but left him, ended up taking 2 years to divorce because he just was not being reasonable, not being not just being there at all, not helping, not willing to do anything. So I had to go all the long routes to get my divorce, and I ended up getting my divorce December 5th, 2019. I still remember it. But backing track a little bit. So we separated, I want to say it was the winter of 2017. Yeah, 2017, that winter. And I was divorced. We separated. I moved out because he refused to leave. Stayed with some family. Ended up being able to move back into my place with me just on the lease because me and the landlord had a good rapport. And then something led to something, and ended up getting pregnant with my son a week after getting accepted into grad school. And no, my son is not my ex-husband's child. It is, we'll talk about that another day. Me and the dad were never in a relationship. It happened. That happened. Cassie's here. I wouldn't change it for the world. But I did end up finding out I was pregnant with my son 2 weeks into getting accepted into grad school. People wanted to be like, oh, well, you did so great. You did such a great job. Look at what you accomplished. It's okay. You got your bachelor's. And I was like, skirt? You guys don't know me. You don't know what I'm capable of. This is not over. It did switch me. Like, I advocated for myself, and I was able to switch from the 1-year graduate program to the 2-year grad school program with my kiddos, single mama, new kid. And then, when was this? Okay, so that was the next year, 2018. That was the beginning of the year. So that summer, I started my first term of GTEP, the Graduate Teacher Education Program, which was the summer of 2019. And, 2018. Goodness gracious, I'm getting all the dates mixed up. 2018. And then I was able to finish the first term, and then I met my now boyfriend. We've been together for 5 years. We'll do a story time about him later. He showed me what true love was and just what it really means to be loved and supported, and he has honestly been a godsend. We both fell into each other's world when we were supposed to. We both were going through similar things. Our childhoods are similar. He was the first person I could have like a educational conversation with and communication, and it was just such a breath of fresh air. So we met the fall of 2019, we met the summer of 2019, and we got together in the fall of 2019. Fast forward to past that, you guys all know what happened, the vid in 2020. So a term before I was done with school. That happened. Everything was crazy. I did end up graduating with my master's in elementary education, June of 2020, and ended up having to virtual teach. Was not prepared for that. Was prepared for a whole different ball game. I had my virtual teaching office in my makeshift classroom in the kitchen. My daughter was virtual learning because she was in like sixth grade at the time. Or no, yes, sixth grade at the time. And my son was like a toddler running around the house. So we made it work, but the burnout was so quick and so real. I decided to take a break from that, and I decided to become a director at a daycare where I was still around children, still able to like train and teach and do what I enjoyed with like the staff. But I was salaried and working way over my salary time, not getting paid for it. It was not my vibe, and I was starting to burn out again, just like teaching. So I decided to just take a break. I lived off of my savings and being financially literate and being able to do so. And then by nepotism, a friend of mine worked for a company. He told me to apply. I applied. The boss, or the online interview, they were like, what can you bring to the company that would make us want to hire you? And I was like, I don't even know what you guys do. Just give me a chance and I'm ready. I've been doing it for 3 years now and I absolutely love it. That is why I have the main page. I work in IT now, in tech, traveling around the country, at expos and conventions. We train the temp staff on how to use our devices. We deploy the devices. We are there for troubleshooting if anything goes awry, but it's really cool. I get to go to a bunch of different places a year traveling there, and I really enjoy my job. I still have that teaching piece I get to use, and I do get the back end of people like, how can you leave your kids? How can you travel? For one, dads do it all the time. I'm just a mama that does it. For two, you're not in my pockets, and unless you are. And for three, when I was teaching and a daycare director, I was home, yes, every night, but I wasn't really home. Like, I was always thinking of the next thing I had to do. I was never really present. I was always planning the next lesson, or so tired when I got home. Some days I left before they woke up. Sometimes I got home, it was time for dinner, bath, and bed. And then spring breaks when they're on breaks, summer breaks when they're on breaks, I'm tired. I want to relax. So all in all, it's been the best decision I've ever made. I love it. Going backwards to where I did the keto and the working out, I became a gym rat, which is where I started my Instagram page. It was for my own accountability, and people just gravitated towards me over there. I still don't know how. But I ended up getting a following, which held me accountable, and I was just on it in the healthiest spot. Right before Cashy, then had Cashy, then COVID. Not excuses, but the whole reason I'm here now, and I promise I'm almost done, is because I was doing all the same things. I was keto, and I lived a keto/intermittent fasting lifestyle in the gym. Well, I tried doing it again this time, and I have documentation of that. No changes. Nothing was working. Nothing was working. The weight was just going up, and I worked with my doctor. I also have autoimmune issues. I have spina bifida occulta, lupus, just a bunch of other issues. I have a fluid-filled cyst in my spine due to the brain condition, and so when I was working out, I was intensifying those symptoms. So it was kind of just like not being effective. So I talked to my primary. He referred me to the weight and diabetes center, and I think I started my process February or March of this year and got my ish done, and I have surgery tomorrow. And I think I have the foundation and I have the mental to be ready for this, and this is a tool. So anyone out there saying like, oh, I took the easy way out, go to my Insta, go to my other pages, go see the work I've done. This isn't the first time. This is a last minute resort, or the last resort for some people, and that's for me. And I've done the things. It's just not this time. It's not, and it's going up to where I want to be here for my kids. I want to be the best version of myself and be here for as long as possible. And everything that I was doing was just not working. So I probably missed a bunch of little blurps in there, but that's just a little bit of my life. I'll try to like break down little pieces of the story. So any pieces of the story you guys are interested in, you want to know more of, leave it in the comments, and I'll break them into little splurts, because I'm in the process of writing a book, but it's going to take me years. I already know it. But anyway, welcome to my page. I am happy to be here, and I can't wait for you guys to follow me on my journey. Okay, bye.